Yo guys, I hope you're doing really well. In this video, what I want to cover is one of the most commonly asked questions that I actually get on, comments on my videos, or whether that be, direct messages or whatever the case may be. One of the most commonly asked questions I get is how to go about onboarding, social media, how to go about onboarding a new social media marketing client. If you own an agency, you've done all the hard work to get the client to agree to work with you, and then a lot of people sort of get stumped on where do they go there, what are the next steps that they need to do in order to get the client onboarded, and then obviously then you can start providing your services. So as I said, I want to cover this sort of 6 main steps that you want to cover within the onboarding process. This is, the process that I would highly recommend you put in place so that you get sort of optimal results, and it's just very efficient to put this in place. Now, I personally actually have a onboarding funnel. It's all very streamlined. Now that I've set it all up, I do not need to attend to it at all. I could bring in 1 client, or I could bring in 1,000 clients within a week, and it really wouldn't matter because it's all very streamlined and it's all automated, and basically everything is evergreen. So I don't need to attend to it. But what I wanted to do in this video was cover, I'd say, the 6 main steps that you need to make sure you are hitting or covering within onboarding your client. So I've actually got the steps lined up here. So the first step is you want to cover the process. Now, what I mean when I say you want to cover the process is simply you want to map out how you want this, the partnership with you and your client to work. You don't want your client to sort of dictate, you don't want your client to dictate how they want it to run. You need to set the standards and set expectations when it comes to, how you want, if you're doing 3-month minimum, which I highly recommend you do, you want to map out what those first 3 months look like, and you want to set expectations in terms of communication, the delivery of the results, etc. You want to make sure you're hitting, you're hitting these points, and you want to make sure you're setting expectations. So that's the first thing, is I highly recommend you cover the process of the first 3 months. Now, the next step this is, based off of what my onboarding is. So, if you want to change it up for yourself, obviously go ahead. But I just wanted to sort of explain what my onboarding looks like. It works amazingly well for my clients. They all actually love it because it's once again, it's very streamlined. So this is what mine looks like. So first things first is I cover, what the process looks like. Next thing is contract and payment. So this is where, obviously, it kind of says it in the name, but this is where I get them to sign the contract, which is an evergreen contract. So, as I said, I could get 1,000 people coming through my onboarding process, onboarding funnel, and it doesn't matter because I've made my contract evergreen. So I get them to sign the contract. If you go back and look at a different video of mine, I don't know if it's going to be posted before or after this one, but I go through the softwares that I use for my agency. So once again, this part is, when they sign the contract, this is they sign that through HelloSign, which is the software that I use for my contracts. So as I said, get them to sign the contract through HelloSign. It's just like an online signature. And then obviously I also get payment from them. Now, more often than not, I actually get payment before they even go through the onboarding, because I push to get payment on the call, on the actual sales call. But, this part, contract and payment, what this does, if they've not paid the invoice just yet, it gets them to sign the contract and pay the invoice before they move on. So that's the next thing. Obviously, that part's quite self-explanatory. So yeah, contract and payment. Next thing is Ads Manager. So that's where I get them to assign me admin to all of their pages, all of their Ads Manager, Instagram, Facebook page, etc. Basically, I just leave my ID, my Business Manager ID. I give them my Business Manager ID, and I've actually shot a quick video of me walking through exactly how they can assign me admin. So obviously you'll need to make sure that you're getting them to do that so you can actually run the ads. Now, if you're not doing paid traffic or Facebook ads, then obviously you can change this part. You can either take this step out or change it to, you know, if you're running Google ads, then you obviously have to become an admin of their Google manager or whatever it is. But yeah, this, as I said, this is my onboarding funnel, and that's the third part. So first part, process, I explain the process, contract and payment. Then, as I said, I get them to assign me admin to their ads manager via giving them my business manager ID. Next thing is I get them to actually explain, tell me more about, I get them to tell me more about what their audience looks like. This helps me and the team, obviously the team at Bax Consulting. It helps us, you know, when we're running the ads, obviously we need to know what the audience is, you know, what their ideal customer looks like, what their ideal customer doesn't look like. Basically, I've set up a type form that asks them all of these questions about their audience, as I said, what their ideal customer looks like, what their ideal customer doesn't look like. All of these different questions about their audience. So as I said, when it comes to we can, when it comes to us actually running the ads, we've got a lot more context on sort of who to target and the best audience to target essentially. And also within this process, within the type form that I've got for my clients, I get them to give me all of their, marketing, all of their marketing assets, such as the images, the videos, and all that sort of stuff. So you want to make sure that you are getting this information from your clients as well. Now the next thing is I get them to set up a strategy session, which is just basically the onboarding call. This is where I'll set up Slack, as you probably would have watched the other video where I cover my softwares that I use. I get them set up on Slack. I get their own channel set up so that, once again, the communication aspect of the business and the agency with the clients is very, very streamlined. So I get them to set up a strategy session where we go through that, and then obviously we can cover any other questions that they have in regards to basically anything. And then, on my specific onboarding funnel, I've just got like a few final words that I tell them, just welcome to Bax Consulting and whatnot. Now that the contract and payment's been all finalized, I just welcome them. But essentially, that's the 5 or 6 main things that you need to cover within your onboarding. Whether you do an onboarding process funnel or you do an email, whatever the case may be. They're the 5 main things. Everything else is kind of extra. But the 5 main things is you want to explain the process. Obviously, you want to get them to sign the contract and pay the invoice. Then you want them to give you access to their Facebook ads manager, and obviously you do that by giving them your ID, your business manager ID. And then the 4th thing is obviously to get them to tell you more about their audience. And then the last thing is just set up a call. I call it a strategy session at Bax Consulting. But you just set up a call, get them to add themselves to your Slack channels, for communication and whatnot, and just go through any final things before you actually get started running the ads. So that's my personal, as I said before, that's my personal onboarding funnel. That's how I run it at, here at Bax Consulting. But you might change some things out, but I just wanted to give you a basic framework on how we've set it up, simply because I get asked this question all the time. So I just wanted to make sure that I cover it for you guys, and you can understand sort of a basic framework on the main things that you really need to get from your client before you can start working successfully for them. So I hope that was gave you a bit more insight, and as I said, I hope you got a bit of value out of it. So I'll see you in the next one, guys.